and mute everybody. And hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Tuesday evening. And yeah, we are continuing with our scary stories because we've covered just recently all the toxins that we are exposed to on a general basis in our cleaning products. And then last week we started on the even more scary stuff, which is the toxins that we are exposed to in our personal care products. And there were some rather off-putting statistics last week about how things affect us in more ways than one because of all the carcinogens, etc., that are in these products, and we are blissfully unaware. And it's not just the carcinogens, there's all sorts of other funny things that affect the hormones and just generally are bad for us. And we are blissfully unaware of this because all in the name of sometimes beauty, sometimes just they tell us daily health, we are exposed to things that are really not good for us. So let me share my screen and continue. Apologies while I just hide all of these goodies. And then I'm going to hide me as well. Okay, so we are still cleaning ourselves to death with both household cleaners and then, as I said, personal care cleaners. And we got through some of the things last week, and this week we're starting on the antimicrobials. Now, obviously, we all get told about how many bugs are in our environment and that you need to wash your hands and sterilize the area that you're working in. So in order to do that, they put these antimicrobials into the products. And these are there to kill or slow the growth of bacteria. And obviously, we don't want bacteria growing in our household. And this will be in places like the kitchen, the bathroom, showers, etc. Now, triclosan is commonly used in consumer products. And you'll see this on a lot of products. And it's found in antibacterial soap, toothpaste to prevent gingivitis, which is inflammation of the gums, deodorant, face and body wash, cosmetics, mouthwash, and other consumer products. But it's linked to thyroid function and an emergence of bacteria resistant to antibacterial products. And studies show its interaction with hormone receptors. Now it gets really scary because it is also toxic to aquatic barrier or aquatic bacteria at levels found in the environment and inhibits the photosynthesis in algae. So when this goes into our environment, it starts to poison the lakes and the seas and the rivers where wildlife are. And because you'll find this a lot in hospital care products, and because of this, you often find things, bacteria or bacterial-resistant bugs in hospitals. And this is where your hospital-borne infections come from as well. Because obviously you want a hospital to be sterile, but just like overuse of antibiotics, overuse of these sort of things leads your bacteria to become resistant, because sometimes I think bacteria is brighter than people. And in December 2013, the US FDA issued a proposed rule to require manufacturers of antibacterial hand soaps and body washes to demonstrate their products are safe for long-term daily use and more effective than plain soap and water in preventing illness and the spread of certain infections. If companies do not demonstrate such safety and effectiveness, these products would need to be reformulated or relabeled to remain in the market. And sadly, I think some unethical companies might find that relabeling is a lot cheaper and easier than reformulating their product. So all they have to do is change some wording on the labels, and then it's deemed safe. Fragrance. Fragrance are scents that are added to cosmetics and personal care products. And often you'll find this on the label that says either fragrance or parfum, which is perfume. And these are not always good. And these are usually made up of a blend of chemicals, and they can hide many chemicals as the composition does not have to be disclosed on the label. So they don't have to tell you what's in the fragrance. All they have to do is label the fact that there is fragrance or perfume that's been added to the product. But what are they using to create that? Because it's not natural in most cases. And some words that you're looking for are fragrance or phthalate on the product label. And it's found not only in things like air fresheners and softeners and those sort of things, but also in nail polish and moisturizers, because it helps the chemicals to be absorbed into the skin. And it is linked, because phthalates are linked to diabetes and asthma, and can create a potential risk to the reproductive system and thyroid. So the synthetic musks are, you look for wording such as fragrance, synthetic musk, or musk on the product label. This is found in fragrance, and this is linked to endocrine disruption by accumulates. So again, if somebody goes to their doctor and they present with signs of diabetes or symptoms of diabetes and asthma, or even thyroid problems, your doctor's going to do a ton of blood tests and all sorts of other invasive tests in a lot of cases to find out what the problem is. But they don't ask to see what's in your deodorant that you're using, what's in your nail polish that you're using, what's in your laundry powder that you're using, because those could be the underlying problem or the underlying cause. So sadly, the doctor will obviously now start to treat the asthma, he'll treat the diabetes, he'll treat the thyroid, he'll treat the reproductive system problems, but they're not removing the cause of the problem. And with no disrespect to doctors, because this is something I wouldn't have even thought to look at, they need to delve deeper, and they don't think about it in a lot of cases. And I suspect it's only if they've been personally exposed to this sort of thing that they would delve deeper and have a look. And phthalate use in PCPs is used at concentrations of less than 10% in nail polish, hairspray, and solvents and perfumes in other products. But remember, phthalates are not just used in personal care products. They're also used in laundry products. So common uses is dimethyl phthalate, or DMP. It's a dye carrier. It's a plasticizer in hairspray. It's a plasticizer in PVC. And it was used in the past as a pesticide. And the potential effects is a human immune system intoxicant, and there's limited evidence of reproductive toxicity. The other one that they use is dibutyl phthalate, which is found in carpets, paints, glue, insect repellents, hairspray, nail polish, and rocket fuel. So we probably won't get exposed to rocket fuel that readily, but with the number of rockets going up into space and these things that are circulating around the planet, they are pushing out that rocket fuel into the atmosphere, which is filtering down to us at some stage. Now, probably people in Florida would be more exposed to this because that's where NASA is. But I do believe we are all exposed to a certain extent. And this dibutyl or DBP has effects on the human immune system, endocrine disruption, possible human developmental toxicant, in other words, for pregnant moms, and there's limited evidence of reproductive toxicity. So again, people who wanting to fall pregnant but are battling, maybe one needs to look at their environment as to what's causing the problem with reproductive issues. Is it a nutrient that's missing, or is it that they're living in a toxic environment? I don't know, but it's good to check it out and see. And then the diethyl phthalate is found in things like toothbrushes, automobile parts, tools, toys, food packaging, cosmetics, insecticides, and aspirin. Do you use a toothbrush? Do you use aspirin? Do your children play with toys? Do you buy food that's been packaged? You're being exposed to this stuff, which again is a human immune system toxicant. There's strong evidence of endocrine disruption, which means it'll affect things like the thyroid and the pituitary gland, and there's limited evidence of reproductive toxicity. So who's to say that the young couple who are desperately trying to fall pregnant are being prevented from doing so because of their toothbrush and their toothpaste and their packaged food? There's some food for thought. Now, pH balance. pH balance, as we saw recently, was the balance of acidity and whether something's acid or alkaline. So pH of skin is below 7. So typically, basic solutions are used to clean the skin. And pardon my French over here, triethanolamine is typically used and works well in removing makeup. So you'll find it in makeup removers. And potential for this TEA, which is an easier one to say, to convert to carcinogenic nitrosamines. So you're taking your makeup off, but maybe you're causing more problems. So you look for this horrible big word on the product label, and it's found in things like mascara, eyelashes, shampoo, face cleanser, face moisturizer, skin lotion, and other pH-balanced products. And it's linked to allergic skin reactions, suspected immunotoxicant, respiratory toxicant, skin or sensory organ toxicant, and is possibly toxic to fish with short-term and long-term exposure. So probably your fish will show up issues with this before you will. But think of people who you know who say, well, I can't use that makeup, or I can't use that cosmetic because I have a skin reaction. Check out the label. This is probably what's causing it. So the next thing that they put in there is a lather and penetration enhancer. And this causes soaps to foam up. And the penetration enhancer, obviously, makes it easier for other chemicals to absorb through the skin, meaning more chemicals will enter your body. Because remember, your skin is the biggest organ of your body. And these are some words that you'll probably find even on our own products. But be aware that there are different sources for these things. So even though we do have some of these in our products, they are from a generally considered safe source. And you're looking for words like sodium lauryl sulfate or sodium dodecyl sulfate or SDS or NADS, sodium lauryl sulfate or sodium lauryl sulfate, SLS, on the product label. And this is found in things like bubble bath, because it thickens and lathers, toothpaste, shampoo, shaving cream, and other cleansers that remove oil. So anything that sort of foams up dramatically will probably have this SLS in it. And it is linked to skin and eye irritation. How many times have you had shampoo in your eyes? Maybe not our shampoo, but shampoo in general in your eyes, and it stings like anything, and your eye ends up being quite red afterwards because of this product inside there. Then you have sodium lauryl sulfate, or sodium lauryl ether sulfate, and this is found also in products that lather, and it's generally just linked to skin and eye irritation. So it might not poison you as much, but it could irritate. Skin conditioner is propylene glycol, and it is also used as a fragrance ingredient, a solvent, and a humectant, which means it provides moisture to something. Is a penetration enhancer. So some of the names that you'll find it under are things like propylene glycol, 1,2-propanidol, methyl ethyl glycol, 1,2-propylene glycol. It's all the same, different names for the same ingredient. And it's found in things like conditioner, styling gel or lotion, shampoo, hair colorant, moisturizer, foundation, anti-aging. So hey, we want to get rid of the wrinkles, but now you're poisoning your body. Mascara again, body wash, facial cleanser, hairspray, eyeliner, etc. And it is a known skin irritant. Environment Canada classifies it as expected to be toxic or harmful. And Cosmetic Ingredient Review Assessment deems safe for use in cosmetics with some qualifications. So generally considered safe, but might harm you. So it's definite maybe that there could possibly be a problem that may or may not affect your skin. Safe to use? You decide. Anti-dandruff. Coal tar is a byproduct of the distillation of coal, which is used to produce coke or gas. Coke, not the stuff that you're drinking, just by the way. An active ingredient in over-the-counter products, and you'll find it under the names of things like tar, coal tar solution, Carbocart, coal tar solution USP, coal tar aerosol, crude coal tar oil, and there's a couple of other words over there which we're not going to get into because you can read them later. And it may be found in prescription and non-prescription preparations to treat skin conditions such as cleansing baths, gels, lotions, shampoos, and other topical solutions, ointments, which are prescribed for psoriasis, shampoos to treat dandruff, ointments to treat eczema, and hair dye. Yet it's a known human carcinogen linked to cancer, endocrine disruption, reproductive toxicity again, immunotoxicity again, neurotoxicity, in other words, poisonous to the nerves, and skin irritation. So here you go, and you've got eczema, which essentially is an open wound on your skin. And you're putting coal tar on there, which is a known carcinogen and a skin irritant. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Now, the other thing that we probably all use on a daily basis is an antiperspirant and deodorant. Now, aluminium, or aluminum in American parlance, compounds slow the flow of sweat and are usually listed as aluminum or aluminium zirconium or tetrachlorohydrex, GLY. And there's some rather controversial research on this because there's no conclusive research linking the use of underarm antiperspirants or deodorants and the subsequent development of breast cancer. But there's some anecdotal research. So some research suggests that aluminium-based compounds may be absorbed by the skin and cause estrogen-like effects. Now remember, the skin under your arms is quite thin, quite sensitive. Where are you putting this stuff? I'll leave it at that. Now, estrogen has the ability to promote the growth of breast cancer cells. Remember, this happens in both women and men. Some scientists suggest that aluminium-based compounds may contribute to the development of breast cancer and also Alzheimer's disease, just by the way. Now, alternatives are aluminium-free products or reduced aluminium content. I don't know when last you read the label on a deodorant stick or deodorant spray can. Those ingredients are typed in incredibly small typing, quite often hidden behind a sticker, and you've almost got to do a word search to find it. But you look for that aluminium, and preferably look for a deodorant that doesn't have it. They are available. They are not easy to find, and generally not exactly cheap either. So be careful. And if spending a couple of extra rand is to give yourself peace of mind and to protect your health, is it worth it? Is it not worth it? You will have to decide. Now, this is something that gets used in our household on a regular basis, because I'm in a household full of women, and they all like to have their nails polished. But most nail polish may contain the toxic trio, which is dibutyl phthalate, toluene, and formaldehyde. DBP is prohibited in cosmetics in Europe because it's a possible human reproductive or developmental toxin. And DBP is your dibutyl phthalate. The US EPA restricts toluene in drinking water because it can cause nervous system disorders and damage the liver and kidneys. Formaldehyde is known to be a human carcinogen, and formaldehyde is what they use to preserve bodies. So DBP adds flexibility, moisturizing, sheen, and it helps dissolve other ingredients. But it's a reproductive and developmental toxin linked to feminizing effects in boys, which is probably why boys shouldn't be putting nail polish on their fingers in the first place. Toluene helps to suspend the color and forms a smooth finish, but it can cause headaches, dizziness, fatigue, and is a possible reproductive and developmental toxin. Formaldehyde is found in nail hardeners. So the ladies that complain about very weak, brittle nails and they need nail polish to strengthen them, you're putting formaldehyde on yourself. It's a known carcinogen. It irritates the eyes, the nose, and the throat, and can cause skin irritation as well. Now, cosmetics. Some ladies like to use lots of this, and some don't. But not always your ladies, but people in showbiz, your actors, they often cover their face with cosmetics, quite thick layers of it, obviously for camera work, etc. Even on the stage for lighting effects as well. Now, I'll go through a couple of these things. Things like blush. Your common ingredients are talc, and powdered silica, alumina, coal tar dyes, acrylates, and parabens. And these cause neurotoxic problems, strong irritants, and endocrine disruptors. Face powder, again, can release formaldehyde, cause allergic reactions, skin irritation, endocrine disruption. Foundation can lead to neurotoxic problems, irritate the skin, promote acne, and it may contain formaldehyde. Why do specifically young girls use foundation? To hide their acne. What are they doing? Making it worse. So we need to educate them on what to use. Concealer is another one. Has skin irritants, endocrine disruptor, cause gene mutations, damage DNA, and contaminants are suspected, and they are also known carcinogens. Eyeshadow, again, those with glitter are linked to cancer and neurotoxic effects. Can cause cancers. Mascara can cause irritation. Immune system toxicant. Lipstick skin irritation, and endocrine disruption. All these things we see and know people, if we're not using it ourselves, we know people who are using these products on a daily basis. If you care about people who have to use this regularly, please share this with them and educate them. Now, colorants. Metals are traditionally used to give cosmetics and personal care products color. And as of May 2011, a study of 49 cosmetics for heavy metals showed foundation, concealer, powder, blush or bronzer, mascara, eyeliner, eyeshadow, lip tint, and lip tint, lip gloss, or lipstick to contain these things. Products contained the following metals. Okay, fortunately, none of them showed mercury, which is the neurotoxin, but 14% showed or contained selenium. And high exposure of this can cause neurological effects, brittle hair, and deformed nails. 20% contained arsenic, which long-term exposure causes kidney damage in animals and humans. Pardon me. 51% contained cadmium, which damages the kidneys, the lungs, and the bones. 61% contained thallium. Large amounts cause vomiting, diarrhea, temporary hair loss, and effects on the nervous system, lungs, heart, liver, and kidneys. 90% of them contained beryllium, and you may become sensitive to beryllium, which causes an inflammatory reaction in the respiratory system. In other words, asthma. 96% of them contained lead, which damages the nervous system, the kidneys, and the reproductive system. And 100% of these 49 cosmetics contained nickel, and contact may cause an allergic skin reaction. Where do you put all these things? Directly on the skin. I'll just cover the lipstick quickly. Lipstick contains wax, oils, antioxidants, and moisturizers, but wax provides the structure. Oils and fats are used for the shine, and more than 50% of lipsticks made in the US contain pig fat or castor oil. Colorants are usually a blend of DNC reds, pinks made from blending reds with titanium dioxide. Matte lipsticks contain more filling agents like silica. Cream lipsticks contain more waxes than oils. Sheer and long-lasting lipstick contain a lot of oil. Long-lasting lipsticks also contain silicone oil. And glossy lipsticks contain more oil. Shimmery lipstick may contain mica, silica, fish scales, and synthetic pearl particles. The FDA limit for lead in colorants used in cosmetics is typically 20 parts per million. An FDA 2010 survey of 400 lipsticks showed the average lead concentration of 1.11 parts per million. The results ranged from the detection limit of 0.026 to 7.19. So according to the FDA, there's no real safety concern about the lead levels found in lipsticks. And the lead levels we found are within the limits recommended by other public health authorities for lead in cosmetics, including lipstick. The CDC shows no threshold for adverse health effects in young children. And all sources of lead exposure for children should be controlled or eliminated, because lead, they're seeing now, can lead to things like autism. And I think I'm going to stop right there because we only have about 6 minutes left. I'm going to stop sharing. Does anybody have any comments or questions before I stop recording, or you're all in shock?